to our weekly Bhagavatam study. So, last few weeks we were reading from Canto 7, first few chapters, and especially in the last chapters, we saw how the conversation between Prahlada Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu took to the point of Hiranyakashipu becoming very angry and ordering his soldiers, take this boy away and kill him right away by various means. When they tried to kill Prahlad, they tried various means to kill him. When they are failed to kill Prahlad, when they are failed, even what to speak of killing, they are failed to touch and harm little bit also Prahlad Maharaj. So they came back and reported, and Hiranyakashipu thought that it seems that I thought I am the most powerful personality in the entire universe, and I was torturing my son like anything, and he is escaping every time like Shunashepa. He seems to be more powerful than me. At least right now, he's not becoming angry with me. He's holding everything. One day he might become angry. Then definitely will kill me. He was thinking like that. Then Chanda and Amarka came and informed Hiranyakashipu saying that, oh, my dear king, don't think like that. Small children does not know what is good for them, what is not good for them. Whatever they hear, they become attached to it. They become possessive of that. So right now, his intelligence is not well developed. In due course of time, as he grows further and further, his intelligence will develop and he will understand what is good and what is not good. More than that, when he serves the spiritual master, our father, Shukracharya, definitely he will develop such kind of intelligence with which you will be pleased. Right now, our father, Shukracharya, is on tapasya. Very soon he will come back. Then, till then, we'll take care of Prahlada, and when he comes back, we will engage Prahlada in the service of Shukracharya. So please, don't worry, we will do the needful. Something like that, they say. So they have taken Prahlad and engaged him in studying Dharma, Artha, Kama, etc., Sama, Veda, Dana, Danda, etc. But Prahlad was not at all interested in them, but he was just listening because out of sheer respect for, because they are elders, they are teachers, and they are appointed by his father. Out of respect for his father, he was listening. But when Shanda and Amarka would go home during the noontime for performing noontime duties, while other classmates of Prahlad were requesting Prahlada, come, let us play. Then Prahlada, taking that opportunity, he would request all the boys, come, 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 let us play after some time, but for now, let us discuss something wonderful. And then he would begin to discuss with the boys. So what would he discuss? He would say that Kaumaram Acharit Prajno Dharman Bhagavata Niha Durlabam Manusham Janma Tadapi Adruvam Artadam. Please listen. One should practice bhakti from the very childhood. One boy raised hand. No, what is so early? We can practice when we become youthful. Then Prahlada said, no, we are not sure. Are we going to live until youth comes? We may die anytime. So we should practice bhakti from Kaumara age onwards, from the age 1 onwards. Another boy said, no, why so hurry? If at all we need to do, if not this life, next life we can do. Then Prahlada said, Durlabam Manusham Janma. Yeah, next life we may think of doing, but are we sure that next life we will get human birth only? Not sure. Then how can we practice bhakti? So we should practice bhakti. But you are telling that in this human life you have to practice bhakti, but human life itself lasts for few years only. How can it be so useful? Even though it is adruvam, it is transient, it is only short-lived, but it is artadam. It is very meaningful and very suitable. The human form of life is very suitable to practice bhakti. Therefore, one should practice bhakti from the age of Kaumara until one dies. Because when we don't know when we die. Okay, if that is the case, one need to practice bhakti. Why to practice bhakti and how to practice bhakti? So, we are happy here. Everything is there in this world. Then Prahlad says, no problem. Everything is there in this world, but everything in this world is temporary. That does not stay with us for eternal rest of eternity. So whatever we have here, everything can be there in completeness in the spiritual world for the rest of eternity. For that purpose, one need to practice bhakti. If you practice bhakti, everything that you are experiencing now, everything that you are having now, you can have all these things with the Supreme Lord for the rest of the day in Lord's abode. For that reason, one has to practice bhakti. Right now, we have parents, we have siblings, we have wife and husband, and we have children, we have servants, we have neutral friends and neutral people. All these things can be there in the spiritual world along with the Supreme Lord. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya, Madhurya. But here, whomsoever we have, they are all temporary. In the spiritual world, they are all eternal. So, like that, it is indicated. So, therefore, one should practice bhakti. So, then there was another question: why so early? Let us do after in the youth and let us do this and then that time. So, now Prahlada is going to say in the next 2-3 verses: see, this human life, if you don't take up bhakti from the very Kaumara age, how our life will be wasted. Kindly see. How we waste our life will be very nicely explained in the few verses later. But before that, why? What is so importance about bhakti in the human life? Why not other things? So we need to endeavor for economic development. We need to endeavor for sense gratification. We need to endeavor for accumulating piety, all these things, dharma, artha, kama, etc. One may say. So we need to work hard to get happiness. Purpose of human life is to get happy. Eat, sleep, be merry. So for that, he answers a couple of things very interestingly. So someone can unmute and repeat after me. Sukham aindriya kaindaitya.
Sukham aindriyakam daitya.
Deha yogena dehinam.
Deha yogena dehinam.
Sarvatra labhyate daivad.
Sarvatra labhyate daivad.
Yata dukkam ayatnataha.
Yatha dukkham ayatnataha.
Tatprayaso na karta. Sorry, 1 second. Tatprayaso na kartavyo.
Tat prayaso na kartavyo.
Yata ayurvayam param.
Yata yurvayam vayah param.
Na tata vindate kshemam.
Na tatha vindate kshemam.
Mukunda charanambujam.
Mukunda charanambujam. Prahlad Maharaj continued, my dear friends, born of demoniac families, the happiness perceived with reference to the sense objects by contact with the body can be obtained in any form of life according to one's past fruitive activities. Such happiness is automatically obtained without endeavor, just as we obtain distress. Endeavors merely for sense gratification or material happiness through economic development are not to be performed, for they result only in a loss of time and energy with no actual profit. If one's endeavors are directed towards Krishna consciousness, one can surely attain the spiritual platform of self realization. There is no such benefit from engaging oneself in economic development.
So kindly pay attention. Externally, Prahlad is looking like a 5-year-old boy. Just in the time he was born, he was only 5 years old. But he is not just 5 years old boy. He was there for thousands of years in the womb, and he was hearing from Narada Muni, the topmost spiritual master. So what he speaks is not the just speech of a 5 years old boy. Of course, from one sense it is yes, but actually it is not. He is highly matured. Devotee of the Supreme Lord, highly matured personality among everyone in the entire universe. He is the direct disciple of Narada Muni, and he heard without any other problem for continuously for many thousands of years. And if he speaks, it must be very strong. And more than that, of the 12 Mahajanas, Prahlada is also one of the important Mahajana. And now from now on we see next 2 chapters, chapter 6, chapter 7, his interesting teachings are there. And also chapter 9, the prayers offered by Prahlada will be there. One of the longest prayers in the entire Bhagavatam. So they also will talk about strong philosophy. From now on, this entire chapter will be talking about very strong philosophy. We'll be discussing today. And tomorrow in the next chapter also there is some strong philosophy, and especially in his prayers that will be very, very, very strong philosophy. So in one sense, the Bhagavatam 12th canto, it says that Adi Anta Madhyavasanena Kaivalyaika Prayojanam. So Srimad Bhagavatam talks about so many past tense in the beginning, middle, and end throughout the Bhagavatam with one and only one reason. What was that? Somehow or other, induce detachment from the conditioned souls and take them back home back to Godhead. Here, Kaivalya means not just Sahajya Mukti, but taking them back home back to Godhead. That is the only prayojanam of Bhagavatam. The main purpose of Bhagavatam is, the main prayojanam of Bhagavatam is to take one back home back to Godhead. But if at all one want to go, one supposed to go to back to Godhead, one need to be detached from this world, that Vairagya. So every page, every verse, every line, every word spoken in the Bhagavatam, directly or indirectly, always hinting at Vairagya, 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 Vairagya. So now, especially in the Prahlada section, that Vairagya comes out very profusely, very directly it will come out. So while he's speaking very strong words, we need to be patient enough to hear and try to understand and assimilate. Even a fraction of that enters into our heart and becomes part of our daily practice, that is good enough for our journey back home back to Godhead. See here, one verse he will speak about this Vairagya principle. In this verse, he says that Sukham Indrekam Daitya Dehayogena Dehinam Sarvatra Labhyate Daivad Yata Dukkam Ayatnata. Just like no one endeavors for dukkha, one no need to endeavor for sukha. Because sukha and dukkha, what we are supposed to get in this life, are already predetermined. At the time of our birth, what is the kind of happiness we are supposed to get, what is the kind of dukkha we are supposed to get, it is already predetermined. So like that Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Because the boys would say, we have heard from our teacher, we have heard from our parents that the purpose of life is to work hard, accumulate money, to have good, happy, prosperous, satisfied life. That is what is being told during that time in the family of all the friends of Prahlad Maharaj. Even today also it is being told. It did not change. The motto did not change. Everyone will say that purpose of life is to study nicely, get a nice job, get a nice wife, get a nice home, get a nice car, get a nice position, and have a happy, satisfied life. That is the motto. What we are doing everything for being happy. We are earning money to be happy. We are studying to be happy. We are working to be happy. So this is the common motto that is there then also. So, but Prahlad Maharaj on the other side says that, hey, my dear friend, please listen. What happiness you are getting this life is not because of your endeavor now. It is already predetermined, which is the result of your activities in the previous lives. By working more and by working less, your amount of happiness will never reduce or never increase. It is already predetermined. Just like no one works for dukkha, no one wants dukkha, but dukkha comes on its own because it is already predetermined. Similarly, the happiness of this life comes on its own. If you work hard this life, the result will come in the next life or something like that. That's why it is said. Just as all beings attain distress without endeavor, they attain happiness of the senses in all species just by connection with the body. At the time of birth, the amount of happiness what we are supposed to get is already be determined. We cannot increase it. Therefore, one should not endeavor for material happiness since it simply depletes one's lifespan. If at all one has a false notion, if I work hard now, I will increase my happiness. No, my dear sir, it will not happen. If you work hard now, the results may come in the next life. In this life, it will not affect. Instead, your lifespan will be taken away from those activities, because every activity requires some time, energy, thought process, everything. It will simply take away your valuable time from your life. By that method, one gains no benefit, at least in this life. In this life, one does not get any benefit. In the next life, one may. One gains benefit from worshipping the lotus feet of Mukunda. Instead, if you use the same time to worship the lotus feet of Mukunda, definitely one will get everlasting happiness in the next life. Okay, in this life, we may not, as per the previous explanation. So whatever endeavor we put now, we'll get happiness in the next life. But if we do material activities, we may get limited happiness next life onwards. But if we worship Lord Mukunda's lotus feet, one gets everlasting happiness in the next life. And that life also will continue to everlast. Otherwise, the result of material activities, whatever life one gets, that will be temporary. That cannot be everlasting life. So like that, Prahlada Maharaj is saying. Having attained a human form, one should not endeavor for material happiness. Happiness and distress are qualities of the body. Thus, by attaining a body, one attains both of these. Because happiness, sukha and dukkha, they belong to the body. So they come with the body, they go away with the body. We cannot change. Sarvatra means even in animal and other species also. For every species, their amount of happiness and distress is already preordained. Because as soon as the body is allocated, the amount of happiness and distress is also allocated along with the body. That cannot be changed. By that method, one does not gain benefit. If at all one working hard, trying to change, but no benefit. Instead, one gains real benefit from worshipping the lotus feet of Mukunda. Instead, if one uses one's body, mind, and intelligence, and also the oneself in the service of Mukunda, definitely one will get the real benefit. So, like that, Prahlada Maharaj is saying, what should be our principal activity in this life? That is what is indicated in Mukunda Charana Mujam Vindate Kshemam, that will award us ultimate auspiciousness. So, like that. Externally speaking, it may look very odd, but if you go deeper and deeper, like root cause analysis, if you do, what Prahlada Maharaj is saying actually true. We cannot deny that. But externally it may appear, and no, because I am working hard, I am also seeing the results happening. The student is working hard, is getting good grades, and one is preparing for competitive exams, one is getting good ranks, and one is working very hard, putting a lot of efforts in the company, and one is getting good results and good increments and position, all these things. But the ability to do all these things, the kind of intelligence, the kind of bodily healthy condition, all these things are nothing but the result of one's previous life activities. One is born intelligent because of previous life's piety. That's why he's able to get good scores and able to do good activities and able to crack competitive exams and get good admission, good college, and then all these things so and so will happen. That is all because one is born intelligent, which is nothing but the result of one's previous life's activities. And one is born healthy also. Health is there, good health is there, so that one is able to study and work. All these things one is able to do. It's like that. Externally, it may appear whatever I am getting is the result of this life's activities only. But actually, it is all preordained. It is already predetermined in the past life only. So like that, we have to understand. At least this is my understanding. This is how I saw this verse. How it is, whatever our happiness and distress is determined by previous activities. So in that way. Okay. He will continue. The third verse also he will tell the same thing. Tato yate ta kushala. Hare Krishna. Anyone can unmute and repeat.
Tato yate ta kushala.
Kshemaya bhavama shrita.
क्षेमाय भवमाश्रिता
शरीरं पौरुषं यावन्
शरीरं पौरुषं यावन्
न विपद्येत पुष्कलम्.
नाविपद्येत पुष्कलम्. Therefore, while in material existence, bhavam ashritaha, a person fully competent to distinguish wrong from right, must endeavor to achieve the highest goal of life, as long as the body is stout and strong and is not embraced by dwindling.
Hmm. The skillful person, fearful of falling from his position, should endeavor for his benefit as long as one remains capable in human form. Basically, as long as this human body is in good condition, one should endeavor for practicing bhakti. Otherwise, you don't know. If body is not good, what kind of bhakti we can practice? Therefore, intelligent person practices bhakti starting from Kaumara age and continues to practice because the health is cooperating, body is cooperating, mind is cooperating, circumstances are cooperating, atmosphere is cooperating. So better one should utilize all these facilities. We don't know. There will be a day where nothing is cooperating. Then what kind of bhakti will practice, even though we may have desire? That is what I said. Tatota yeto yashasa kushala kshemaya bhavamashrita. Shariram paurusham yavan na vipadyeta pushkalam. As long as the shariram is good, man is good, one should practice bhakti. That is what is indicated. Hearing fearfully that one falls from one's position by not worshipping the Supreme Lord, sthanat brashtat patantada, one worship the Lord. That means if we don't worship the Lord, we will not get everlasting happiness and ultimate auspiciousness. Instead, one will fall down to lower species, as the previous verse said. So better one should practice bhakti. So in that way, one should become careful. That is the meaning of Bhayam Ashrita. This is an injunction for Vedi Bhakti. So in one of the 64 Rangas of Vedi Bhakti is one should be apramatta, always be attentive. Anything can happen anytime. We are not sure. Anytime, any day, accident can happen, disease can happen, and heart attack can happen. Anything can happen. We may be no more in the next day. We become a picture on the wall only. So better as long as the body is cooperating, mind is cooperating, the atmosphere is cooperating, facilities are cooperating, surroundings are cooperating, one should practice bhakti. Anything can happen to anything any day. So that is what is Prahlada Maharaj is saying. Pushkala means well nourished because of absence of old age and disease. Because before the old age comes, before the disease comes, one should practice bhakti. That indicates as long as one is capable of endeavoring, one should endeavor serving Lord Vishnu, Lord Mukunda. So like that. This is how one should utilize one's life in serving the Supreme Lord. Starting from Kaumara age. Kaumara age is 1 to 5, then Pauganda 5 to 10, Kaishora 10 to 15, Yavana 15 to 15 and further. So like that. If we don't endeavor for bhakti, what happens in our life? Though we may say 1 to 5 is Kaumara, then Pauganda, then Kaishora, then Yavana, then Prauda, then Vruddha, then Pretya, like that we may say our progression in life. But if we don't practice bhakti, what happens to us? How we will be spending our whole life? Very graphically, he says in the next 2-3 verses. Pumsho varshashatam yayus
Umsho Varishasatam Yayus
tadardam chajitatmana
Tadardham Chajitatmana
nishpalam yad asauratyam
Nishvalam Yad Asauratriam
shete andam prapitastama.
Shete Andham Prapitastamaha. Every human being has a maximum duration of life of 100 years. But for one who cannot control his senses, half of those years are completely lost because at night he sleeps 12 hours, being covered by ignorance. Therefore, such a person has a lifetime of only 50 years.
Okay. I mean, nowadays we have electricity and all, we are sleeping less and all, but normally when sun sets, one is supposed to go to sleep, when sun rises, one is supposed to get up and perform activities. So in that way, from sunset to sunrise, the 12 hours of time is actually meant for sleeping. So thus every human being has his duration of 100 years, but for one who cannot control his senses, half of those years are completely useless because at night he sleeps, covered by ignorance. One who does not have inclination to practice bhakti, in his entire lifespan of 100 years, one wastes 50% of it just by sleeping only. The way in which one wastes life is described. That means from birth to death, 50% of our life goes in sleeping. At least, Prahlada Maharaj point of 50, Ardham he was telling. But at least in our case, we can take. So on average, people would sleep from 6 to 8 hours. So 8 hours if you take, 1/3 of our lifespan will go in sleeping. So remaining 2/3 is there. Let us see what we do in that remaining 2/3. That means in the daytime, what are the other activities we do from birth to death? We spend the remaining part of the daytime after sleeping, whatever time is left, that how do we utilize that? Mugdasya bale kaishora
मुग्धस्य बाल्ये कैशोरे
क्रीडतो याति vimshati
क्रीडतो याति विंशति
jaraya grasa dehasya
जरयाग्रस्तदेहस्य
yati akalpasya vimshatihi.
याति अकल्पस्य विंशति. In the tender age of childhood, when everyone is bewildered, one passes 10 years. Similarly, in boyhood, engaged in sporting and playing, one passes another 10 years. In this way, 20 years are wasted. Similarly, in old age, when one is invalid, unable to perform even material activities, one passes another 20 years wastefully.
So 1/3 of time we are sleeping. In the remaining 2/3, first 10 years, one is in ignorance. One does not know what is what. One does not know what supposed to do, what not supposed to do, but one is trying to learn things. In the first 10 years, a normal common human being, human child, he will simply follow whatever parents say and he will simply play with other friends and all something like that. There's nothing that one can do in the time. From the age of 10 to 15, during the Kaishora age, one is engages in playing. Yeah. Till 15, one is only interested in playing. But nowadays, if you see from our point of view, one will go to school. After school is over, one starts playing. One is only interested in playing cricket, India at least. Or other games also, some other children. But in any sense, till 15, one's main activity is all playing only. Yeah, of course, one may go to school, one may study something. But other than school, the most important activity that children do is playing. And then one spends 20 years afflicted by invalidity due to old age and another 20 years incapable of doing anything. That means 60 to 80 is old age, 80 to 100 is bedridden, incapable. If at all one lives 100 years, 80 to 100 is said to be not able to do anything. Even one is able to do up to 80, but last 20 years are all kind of old age only. Even one wants to do, the body may or may not cooperate. That means 60 to 100, the whole daytime will go in old age and incapability. And 0 to 15 years, the small boys, young boyhood, it will all go in playing. Without understanding what is what, even one starts understanding, developing some intelligence and starts understanding from 11th years onwards, one is only interested in playing. One hardly show any interest in spirituality. Like that. This is Prahlada Maharaja's analysis. First 15 are gone, last 40 are gone. What remains is from 15 to 60. Yes? Yeah, 15 to 60. Where one goes to college, university, and eventually gets job, gets married, begets children, and children will start growing up and he works hard, increments, promotions, transfers, and building homes, purchasing properties, increasing bank balance, purchasing shares, real estate, vehicle, this, that, relatives, parties, functions, And by the time one comes to 60, one becomes old. So 15 to 60, one is busy doing all these things. Durapurena kamena
Durapurena kamena
mohena cha baliyasa
mohena cha baliyasa
shesham gruheshu saktasya
shesham griheshu shaktasya
pramattasya payatithi.
pramattasya payatihi. One whose mind and senses are uncontrolled becomes increasingly attached to family life because of insatiable, lusty desires and very strong illusion. In such a madman's life, the remaining years are also wasted because even during those years he cannot engage himself in devotional service.
So from 16th year onwards, when one becomes teenager, when one becomes youth, when one starts developing attraction towards opposite sex and other things in this world, attraction towards the name, fame, recognition, achieving, and also ambitions, all these things are there. Then one tries to fulfill all those desires. Like that, all one's time from 15 to 60 will be gone away. The person attached to family life and inattentive to spiritual goal waste the remaining years in household life, bewildered by strong desires that cannot be fulfilled. One's ambitions or desires are skyrocket size. In order to achieve them, one works hard, works hard, works hard, day and night, day and night, day and night. One's entire lifespan will go in that only. It's like that. So in this way, one's 100 years of life, how it will be spent, Prahlad Maharaja told. So one third of lifespan goes in sleeping. In the remaining two third, first 10 years or first 15 years in play, last 40 years invalidity, old age, and inability and all. And between 45 years, from 15 to 60, one wants to achieve one ambitions fulfilled. So one will have a lot of ambitions. One tries to work hard. Like from there, inter plus one, plus two degree, and undergraduation, post graduation, and job, and then marriage, children, their education, their college, their marriages, so like that. Things will go in this only. One's life becomes busy with all these things until 60. So then what should be done? So therefore, kindly keep the life's main goal in priority. If one does not keep in priority, one is not attentive to that goal, one's life will go like this only. Therefore, become attentive. But one may say that, no, but you mean to say that we should not get married, we should not study nicely, we should not get a nice job, nice position, nice name, fame, etc., nice positions, wealth, all these things we should not have? One may ask the question. For which, now Prahlad Maharaj gives answer all the way up to text number 18. Any questions till now? You are able to follow?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
But Prabhuji, there was one thing, I think in the initial shloka number 3, I guess, where it was mentioned in the purport that because of all these activities, one's lifespan reduces. So I didn't quite understand, like, means because of these activities, one's health goes down, and that is why lifespan reduces.
Of course, because of extra endeavor, one's lifespan reduces, that is there. But otherwise, one's lifespan reduces means also, if we use all our time for the so-called material activities, how much time we will remain with spiritual activities? Remain with for spiritual activities. So like that. That is also another understanding. So we have 24 hours, 365 days, 100 years, for example, we say. So in that, if we utilize so many hours, so many number of days, so many number of years for so many other activities, so how many number of years, how many number of days, how many number of hours can be with us for practicing bhakti activities. Not for a practicing devotee. In general, for a common man, you see. You think of a common man in India, how many hours will be left for them for doing spiritual activities? Having allocated so many hours, so many days, so many years for so many other activities.
Yes.
Unless until one is not inclined to practice bhakti, one cannot take away for practicing time practicing bhakti.
So
Because
lifespan reduces means okay. No, continue.
somehow or other we have all come in touch with the devotees and we have heard about the importance of bhakti. So we consciously we take out some good amount of time every day to practice devotional services, especially in the morning hours, doing little Mangalarti and chanting and also offering some prayers, preparing bhoga and offering to the Lord. Like all of you in your case, I'm saying. So at least morning few hours, our core activities of bhakti will be done. Rest of the day, if possible, we may hear some lecture, we may hear some kirtan, and once in a week on Sundays we may come to temple, and once in a week once in a week we may have satsang program. So we have taken out some good amount of time for core spiritual activities, and slowly, gradually, we make our entire life centered around spiritual activities. But for a normal, common Indian, how many will be able to do like this? So that is what Prahlad Maharaj is saying.
Okay, Guruji. Means the lifespan for doing spiritual activities reduces a lot. It means in
Ah,
general for the karmis, if we try to
ah,
see. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Rajeshwari Mataji, can you mute? Ko Gurheshu Puman Saktam
को गृहेषु पुमान् सक्तम्
Atmanam Jitendriyaha
आत्मानं जितेन्द्रियः
Sneha Pashayadrudam Baddam
स्नेहपास्ते हृदय बद्धं
Ussaheta Vimochitum.
सहेत विमोचितुम्. What person to attach to household life due to being unable to control his senses can liberate himself? An attached householder is bound very strongly by ropes of affection for his family, wife, children, and other relatives.
Hereafter, he becomes very strong. If we don't start practicing bhakti from Kaumara age, what happens to us is what he's going to tell now. What person with uncontrolled senses is able to free himself when attached to the house? He is bound tightly by the strong ropes of affection with the house, with the family members, with the vehicles, with the other side possessions, everything. One becomes strongly attached with them, it's very difficult to give them up. Even though the person may realize that he should worship Krishna, he is unable to do so. Therefore, from Kaumara age, one should begin worshipping the Supreme Lord. One can perfect one's worship only by producing attachment to worship and by being unattached to anything else. There is no other method. There is a proverb Prabhupada would say, Srila Prabhupada always would say that in Telugu we always hear this. In one sheath we cannot keep two swords. There can only be one sword can be there in the one sheath. So therefore, in our mind we cannot keep bhakti as well as material activities. Only one can stay. There is no space for both of them. So like that. If one is attached to material life, one's attachment for bhakti will not take place. So that is the understanding. If at all one want to be attached to bhakti, one should not be attached to material life. Like that, the Prabhupada is directly, and Prahlad Maharaj is directly saying, he is not trying to tell us here, superficially and dire. Very strong, very directly he was telling. If you want to practice bhakti, there should be no attachment for anything material, for home, for all the other things associated with home. Because that attachment will be very strong. It is very difficult to come out of that attachment. So that is the reason. There is one verse comes in the 10th canto when Brahmaji is offering prayers to Lord Krishna after Brahma Vimohan Leela. There he says that Yavad Kara Griham Gruham Yavad Ragadayastena Yavad Kara Griham Griham Yavan Mohongri Nigado Tavan Krishna Ketavan Krishna Jana Nate Tavan Nate Krishna Jana. Unless until we become Krishna Jana, one of the family member of Krishna, our home will be like Karagara, because our attachment to our home will keep us in this material world. It is like a Karagraha. It does not give us freedom to go back home, back to Godhead. Our material desires are our thieves. In order to fulfill every desire, we need to work very hard. By the way, we are working very hard. Our valuable lifespan, our valuable time in our life and energy will go away. They are like thieves. Our hard-earned money will taken away. And then, Yavan Mohongri Nigado. We are always in Moha. This, I am that, I am engineer, I am doctor, I am this, I am that, I am father, I am husband, I am grandfather, grandmother, this, that, like that. As long as we are in Moha, that Moha, Yavan Mohongre Nigado, that will keep us in illusion in this material world. Tavan Krishna Janenate. Unless until we become Krishna Jana, all these things will bind us in this material world by various means. So it is like that. And the next verse talks about the strength of material attachment. One may say that no, the house does not create such much attachment. How can you say that Gruham is a Kara Gruham? So without Gruham, how can we do all these things? So Gruham is required. So how can you say, what right do you have to say Gruham is Kara Gruham? One may question. Then Prahlada Maharaj will answer why he is calling Gruham as a Kara Gruham. Konvarta Trishnam Visrajet.
Konvartatrishnam visrujet
Pranebhyopi Ipsitaha.
pranebhyopi yaipsita
Yam क्रीणाति अशुभि प्रेष्टैस्
yam krinati asubhi preshthais
तस्करा सेवको वनेक.
taskara sevako vani. Money is so dear that one conceives of money as being sweeter than honey. Therefore, who can give up the desire to accumulate money, especially in household life? These professional servants, soldiers, and merchants try to acquire money even by risking their very dear lives.
Bombay is a typical example. Monday to Saturday, if you go to any local train, any bus stop, there is no space to stand with 2 feet. That many people are there. They are going early in the morning and coming back late in the evening, working throughout the day very hard. For what purpose? For money. Money, 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 which is sweeter than honey. Who can give up the thirst for money, which is dear than the life heirs? Many people lost their lives while traveling the local trains. Since they don't have any space to keep their 2 legs in the doorways of the train, 1 leg on the doorway, 1 leg in the air. Sometimes some unusual, unexpected time, one may fall down, one may die. This is all for money only. That's why money is sweeter than honey. Of course, one may say, but what can be done? There is a family, we need to maintain the family, we need to earn money. Yes, whatever it is, but one is working hard for money only. And for which the thief, servants, and merchant risk their lives. Here one is working very hard to earn money, and there are other persons also working very hard to steal that money. One servant who is working under someone, he try to escape, cut corners without working hard. One want to get money from the master. The master is working hard and is paying the servant. Servant without working hard, he wants to take money. And thieves, they are also making plans to steal the money, rob the money. And merchants are also going from one country to other country to try to do some business, try to get some money and all, risking at one's own life. So different people like that. Wealth is dear than the life heirs. That is explained in this verse. Thieves risk their lives by entering the house of a wealthy man at night to steal. If they are caught, they could be sentenced to death, but still they try to rob the money from the rich man. Servants of the king risk their lives by going to war for the king. Okay, your servants is the soldiers. They are risking their life to fight for the king. They can die also, but they are working at the cost of their own life because they need money for the family. Merchants risk their lives by going to difficult places across the ocean because they need to earn money. They need to do business and earn profits and money so that they can become rich. So for money, people risk their lives. Whether one may be a merchant, one may be a soldier, servant, or one may be a thief, or one may be a common man. Everyone is risking their lives to work hard and to earn money so that one can have good amount of sense gratification. For what purpose one is risking the life? For money. But why one need money? That will be explained in the next two verses. Katam priyaya anukampitaya
Katham priyaya anukampitaya
sangam rahasyam ruchiram mantran
sangam rahasya ruchiramscha mantran
surustuta sneha sita shishunam
surastatat sneha stitsi nunam
kalaksharanam anurakta chittaha
laksharanam anurakta chitta
putran smaramta duhit duhitrur hrudaya
putran smaranam tadrita hidaya
pratrun swastrun va pitarau cha dino
bhatram swasrirva pitaro chadino
grahan manojnor parijadamsha
grahan manojono prarichadatamscha
vrittischa kulya pashubhrutya vargan
vrittischa kulyan pashubhritya vargan
त्यजेत कोशस् तदेत कोशस् कृद इवेह मानः
tajestakosa krida ivaha manah
कर्माणि लोभाद वितृप्त कामः
karma nilopahat avitripta kamaha
औपस्य जैवं बहुमन्यमानः
apuste jihavam bahumanyam manah
कथं विरज्येत दुरन्तमोहः
katham virajyate duranta moha. Translation: how can a man who is most affectionate to his family, the core of his heart being always filled with their pictures, give up their association? Specifically, a wife is always very kind and sympathetic and always pleases her husband in a solitary place. Who could give up the association of such a dear, affectionate wife? Small children talk in broken language, very pleasing to hear, and their affectionate father always thinks of their sweet words. How could he give up their association? One's elderly parents and one's sons and daughters are very dear. A daughter is especially dear to her father, and while living at her husband's house, she is always in his mind. How could he? How who could give up that association? Aside from this, in household affairs, there are many decorated items of household furniture, and there are also animals and servants. Who could give up such comforts? The attached householders is like a silkworm, which weaves a cocoon in which it becomes imprisoned, unable to get out, simply but for the satisfaction of two important senses, the genitals and the tongue. One is bound by material conditions. How can one escape? Hare Krishna.
How can a person remembering his private association with his affectionate wife and their pleasing conversation give her up? Bound by affection to his children, attracted to their simple words, remembering his association with those children, remembering his sons, how can he give them up? How can he give up the daughters who touch his heart, our brothers, sisters, dependent father and mother, houses with furniture, means of livelihood, that means job, possessed down, passed down in the family, that means family occupation, domestic animals and servants. The domestic animals means now vehicles and servants. Just as silkworm builds a cocoon with no exit and thus perishes, the foolish person acting out of lust with unsatisfied desires, giving importance to the happiness of the genital and tongue, builds a trap with no escape. How can this person under great illusion become detached? Why in the previous verse Prahlad Maharaj called Gruham as Andakupam, Gruham as Karagaram, Gruham as the bondage for a person is explained in this verse. Because one spends good amount of time with one's own family members, it is very difficult to give them up. Even we can see in Bhagavad Gita also. Arjuna says, how can I kill my grandfather? How can I kill my Guru, Drona? How can I kill my other relatives? It is very difficult. So, same thing is told here. It is very difficult because one spends good amount of time with the family members, especially wife, children when they are small, and eventually one develops a lot of attachment for one's children as they are growing up. Especially the fathers develop attachment to daughters, the mothers develop attachment to sons. It is very difficult to give up. So how can one develop attachment to Krishna? It's very difficult. Like that Prahlad Maharaj is saying. The strength of attachment to wife and sons is shown. Remembering association with one's wife, how can a person give it up? 3 verses are talking about this. Mantran means conversations with the beneficial instructions. Wife and husband, they help each other. What should we do? How we should take care of our family and children and relatives and all. They keep discussing with each other. They do mantrana for each other. Bound by affection for them, how can one give up association with the small children? How can one give up one's daughters who touches one's hearts? Even if they live with their husbands, even after the marriage, when daughters go to their in-laws home also, especially the father will cherish, always remember the daughter's affection, the time one spends with the daughters, etc., etc. Thus, how can one give up the means of life? Let's say eventually, how can one give up the means of livelihood passed down in the family? The family kulavritti we say, na? The family occupation. One has spent whole life with that. Since childhood, one is helping the father. Eventually, one takes up the business, family occupation. One does this thing for the entire life. Then how can one give up? It is very difficult. Just as a silkworm makes a cocoon without making a door to get out and thus dies. Similarly, a person giving great importance to happiness of the genital and tongue performs actions and binds in oneself with no escape. This is how the house, the griha, can bind one. If one does not have inclination to practice bhakti from the very kaumara, it is like that. This is very common. We can see this all over India. One always says that when we give them Bhagavad Gita, "Ah, it's okay for future. Now I am very busy with all so many activities. I have to clear this EMI, that EMI, and his daughter's marriage is coming up, and the son is not settled. I have to send my son to US, and so many things. So many plans are there, so many pending activities are there. But does not have any time to think about reading Bhagavad Gita and hearing Bhagavatam. So one say that when my daughters are married and when my sons are settled, then I will read. Afterwards, maybe they are not, so many years are passed after their marriage are over, they are not getting children. What is this? What happened? All these things. So like that, one after the other, there will be so many anxieties. After retirement, the pension is not coming on time, and this is not happening on time, and the health is not good, head is aching, and There is knee pains and stomach pain and back pain, this pain, that pain, like that. Life goes on. So Prahlad Maharaj continues. See, Prahlad Maharaj is very strong in his whatever he is saying. He is very strong because he wanted to inspire all of us, become serious in our practice of bhakti. That is the duty of a teacher. Being a teacher, he want to tell the truth directly and very graphically. Whether we may accept it or not, but this is the truth according to Prahlad Maharaj. So we'll continue. Further future verses become more stronger also. कुटुम्ब पोषाय वियन्निजायुर्
कुटुम्बपोषाय वियन्निजायुः
न बुध्यतेऽर्थं विहतं प्रमत्तः
न बुध्यतीर्थं वियतं प्रमत्तः
सर्वत्र तापत्रयदुःखितात्मा
सर्वत्र तापत्र यदुःखितात्मा
निर्विद्यते न स्वकुटुम्बरामा.
निर्विद्यते न स्वकुटुम्बरामः. Translation: one who is too attached cannot understand that he is wasting his valuable life for the maintenance of his family. He also fails to understand that the purpose of human life, a life suitable for realization of the absolute truth, is being imperceptibly spoiled. However, he is very cleverly attentive to seeing that not a single farthing is lost by mismanagement. Thus, although an attached person in material existence always suffer from threefold miseries, he does not develop a distaste for the way of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Inattentive, अप्रमत्ता, प्रमत्ता हो जाते, अप्रमत्ता नहीं, is not attentive, प्रमत्ता हो गया. Inattentive, one does not understand that one's lifespan has dwindled away and one's real goal of life has been destroyed in maintaining one's own family. Like, if one is simply engaged from 15 years to 60 years in maintenance of the family, day in, day out, working very hard to fulfill the demands of one's own heart and the demands of one's own children, wife, and other family members, friends, and relatives, the life will go away in maintaining the family, taking care of the relatives, friends, and society. No time left for practicing bhakti. Though always suffering the threefold miseries, in between there are so many problems: stomach ache, headache, fever, cough, this, that, so many problems. One has to go through threefold miseries, sometimes ativrishti, anavrishti, like that, like that. Because one enjoys with his family, one does not regret this. Because one is having some kind of family happiness, one receives the family affection, family members affection and all, one does not mind working very hard. One does not mind going through tapatraya. One does not mind spending one's complete life in maintaining the family. Simply the one answer is, और क्या चाहिए जीवन में? इसके अलावा और कुछ है क्या? That is the only one answer we may get to hear. One does not understand that one's lifespan is dwindling and the goal of human life is lost. What is the goal of human life? Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. One does not understand the goal of life is attaining shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. But one is busy with performing household activities, one lost one goal. One's goal becomes how to take care of the family and family members. That becomes one's life goal. Thus, one is only aware of running out of cakes and sweets. See, one is only aware of running out of cakes and sweets. That means one is only aware of how to maintain the family, how to take care of the family members, friends, and relatives. However, one does not regret this. While doing so, even in spite of getting so many diseases, so many problems, one never regrets. So one will say that, बस जीवन इसके लिए है, इसके अलावा और कुछ करने का है क्या? Something like that. Very, 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 very common answer all over India. Of course, all over the world, we can say. So like that. Then Prahlad Maharaj further continues. Vitteshu nitya binivishta cheta
वित्तेषु नित्या विनिविष्टचेता
vidvamsha dosham paravittahartuhu
विद्वांसदोषं परवित्तहर्तुः
प्रत्येह व्यातापि अजितेन्द्रियस्तात
प्रत्येकवातापि अजितेन्द्रियस्तत्
अशान्तकामो हरते कुटुम्बी.
अशान्तकामो हरते कुटुम्बी. If a person too attached to the duties of the family maintenance is unable to control his senses, the core of his heart is immersed in how to accumulate money. Although he knows that one who takes the wealth of others will be punished by the law of the government and by the laws of Yamaraja after death, he continues cheating others to acquire money.
Yeah, since one is constantly absorbed in money, one is attached to one's family, and one has unfulfilled desires, unable to control his senses, one steals, though he knows it is wrong to steal others' money, since there are consequences now and after death. So basically, one need to take care of one's own desires, one need to take care of one's own family members, relatives, friends, all these things. But once working, he is not enough. One salary is not enough. One need to get more money. So one starts stealing others. Even one goes to the extent of cheating and robbing and looting. So like that. Nowadays it is very common. Nowadays it is forecasted at the beginning of this year, last March. This year there will be a lot of cyber crimes. We keep hearing that from my account, lot of money got lost. From this bank, that my money account lost. This like that, like that. So many cyber cases are coming up. People are hacking one's account and stealing the money from their bank accounts. They don't want to work. They simply want to take away money from somebody else and enjoy lavishly because they don't have their senses under control. Somebody else's money is meant for my enjoyment. That is the motto. Though one knows that after dying one will experience hell, and in this life one gets punishment by the king or government, still one steals money of others. There is no end to it. And this year it has been becoming more and more. And there are so many scams we see sometimes. People are stealing big ways. Hundreds of thousands of crores they are stealing. And many people, anywhere even maybe, everyone want to steal and accumulate more and more money so that one can enjoy more and more. That is the only goal of life, has become the motto of the people of this world now. That is why the neighboring countries have attacked India and robbed and stole away the entire money. Since 1,000 years we are seeing in the history how the foreign invaders came to India and stole away the money. So like that. I mean, we can see people around us also. People want to take away easy money. So like that. Because they want to enjoy more and more. They want to have more and more sense gratification. And because their working hard is not good enough. Even though they may be working hard, they are getting some salaries, but that is very meager. That is not sufficient for the fulfillment of their desires and their family members' desires. They need to loot money from others so that they can fulfill their sinful reactions, their sinful desires. But they are not worried about what will government will do if the government catches me. What kind of punishment they will give after death? When I go to Yamaraj, what kind of punishment will come? Let it come. That time we will see. Right now, I want to fulfill my desire. That becomes the most important thing. So like that. So ignorant people might be doing like this, but intelligent people will not do like that, one may say. So intellectual people who understand this will not do. We are not sure. We cannot give guarantee. Let us see what Prahlad Maharaj says. Vidvanapitam danuja kutumbam
Vidvan apitam danuja kutumbam
Kushnan swalokayana kalpate vai
Kushnan swalokaya na kalpate vai
Yasviya parakya vibhinna bhavas
Yasviya parakya vibhinna bhavas
Tama prapadyeta yata vimudaha.
Tamaha prapadyeta yatha vimudha. O my friends, sons of demons, in this material world, even those who are apparently advanced in education have the propensity to consider this is mine and that is for others. Thus, they are always engaged in providing the necessities of life to their families in a limited conception of family life, just like the uneducated cats and dogs. They are unable to take to spiritual knowledge. Instead, they are bewildered and overcome by ignorance.
O demons, though one knows scripture, by maintaining one's family, one becomes incapable of understanding one's own real benefit. Absorbed in the concept of self and other, one enters hell like a fool. Even though there may be some intelligent people who studied the Vedic literature, still, without understanding what should be one's real aim of life, one is simply engaged in taking care of the family with the concept of my family, my friends, mine and others, friends and enemy. And eventually, after death, one will go to hell. Even that such a person also. Though one knows scripture, one is capable of contemplating concerning oneself. Like a fool, one cannot consider who am I, what should I do. One may know Shastra, one may say that I am intelligent, I am this, I am that. I can debate, I can do this, I can do that. But one does not understand. I am the spirit soul, if I am part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And my aim of life is to become an eternal associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That one may not understand. Then one's life is gone. Since no one, even knowing scripture in any place or time, has been able to free oneself from family life, one should surrender to Narayana. The ignorant are bound by family, the learned also bound by family. Therefore, for everyone, the recommended activity is surrender to Lord Narayana from the age of Kaumara. The human being is the pet animal for pleasure of women, who are the chains which produce birth. One may say that, no, how can you say that one is bound in this material in the family life? What is it might be sometime, but not always. But Prahlad Maharaj very strongly will say that, no, after one enters into household order, even though one may want to practice bhakti, but one becomes subservient to one's family members, starting with one's wife, children. Keep demanding, I want this, I want that. In order to fulfill the demands of one's own wife and children, one need to work hard, even to the extent of cheating, stealing, robbing. So like that. So that is what is being told in the next two verses.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, like all these scriptures have been written, taking into consideration as a man in the picture. Like now, it means that is why always it is said that the woman is a one thing which will bound you to the material world, like that. So vice versa is also true. Like it should be understood.
Yes. Vice versa is also true. That is what we studied also in teachings of Lord Kapila. Lord Kapila also tells the same thing. It will happen in either case. But at least, as you said, from Vedic culture point of view, it was boys who were sent to Gurukula. It was boys who were studying the Vedas. The Vedas and other Upavedas and all were studied by the boys. under the Guru in Gurukula. Once they come back, they need to teach their wife and children, and they need to practice according to what they have learned in the Gurukula. Because in the past, everything is in a different way. The marriages would happen early. The boys go to Gurukula at the age of 5, 6, and they would spend time there for 10, 15 years. And by the age of 20, they would come back. And the marriages would happen very early for the girls, especially. The boys would be around the age of 20, and the girls would be much earlier than puberty, around 10 to 15 years only. That time only they are married. They are married, and the husband will become the teacher for the wife, and the husband would teach the wife whatever he had learned in the Gurukul, and that's how they would lead their life. So in the past, everyone would do their respective family occupation only. They don't have to wait for getting job and all. Because of the British colonial culture, we have to study and get job and work under somebody. But that was not the traditional Indian culture. The culture is, yes, you are born in a particular family, you practice your family occupation. For that one, for family occupation, one need to go to school, college and learn and get degrees and attend interview and all. That is not required. One need to go to Gurukul, study the Vedas and study the purpose of life and study Vedas and Puranas, Itihasas and all, maybe some skills associated with it, and come back and practice your family occupation. The family occupation is there in one's blood. One no need to take some special training for that. So the marriage would happen early in their life at 20, at the age of 20, and they don't have any problem of unemployment and all. So life would go on peacefully. See, nowadays we are sending all the boys and girls to schools for basic maintenance of the life. But in the past, maintenance of life is not at all a problem. That is not at all a consideration. There, the education is meant to study the Vedas, which is meant for spiritual practices, not for livelihood. But now, the education has nothing to do with spiritual practices. Education is only meant for livelihood. That's why both men and women are going for schools, colleges, and for education for livelihood. At least in the previous, till your lifetime, your time, there was no necessity for mothers to work. The fathers would work and the family would run happily. But now, both mother and father and wife and husband both have to work if they want to stay in a life in a place like Mumbai. Because we have only made our life complex. So it is that's how we have to understand.
Yeah,
It was not required for Matajis to go to Gurukul and study Vedas. We cannot required for them. They are quite enough because they are married to their husband early in their age. At the age of 10, 12 only they are married to husband. That is the time for school. And their guru is their husband. And husband will teach them everything. They don't have to go to some other school, college here and there, being exploited by the entire world.
actually, Prabhuji, that only like means here we are saying that husband used to be like the guru for the girls, and they used to get whatever spiritual knowledge from the husband. But and also there were a lot of restrictions in the society for the women in the previous two generations or before that also if we see. So in spite of that also it has been mentioned that a human being or the husband becomes the pet animal for the pleasure of a woman like that. So it becomes a bit difficult that in such scenario also how the husband used to be.
Wait. You are confused. You are mixing both. In a family, if there is spiritual culture, both cooperate with each other to practice bhakti. And we are talking from the very beginning of this chapter. In a family where there is no spiritual culture.
Okay.
Okay. We are discussing about that person only. If one does not practice bhakti from Kaumar age, what happens to them? That is what Prahlada Maharaj is talking now. So in a family, the husband and wife does not have any spiritual culture. What happens? The wife will demand. The husband has to fulfill the demands. The children will demand. The father has to fulfill the demands. This college, this school, that fees, and wife would say this saree, that jewelry, that this, so many things.
Yes, yes. Understood.
Yeah. So kindly don't intermix both. We are talking about a person in whose life there is no spiritual culture. Their life is dedicated to maintain the family. Obviously, this is quite natural. It is being seen. You can see in your relatives' homes also. There are a lot of demands from wives and children.
True, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah. यतो न कश्चित् क्वच कुत्रचिद्वा
यतो
यतो
न कश्चित्
क्वचित्
one person दीनस्वमात्मानमलं समर्थः
दीना स्वमात्मानमलं समर्था
विमोचितुं कामदृशां विहारा
कामदृशां विहार
क्रीडा मृगो यन्निगदो विसर्गः
क्रीडा मृगो यन्निगडो विसर्ग
ततो विदूरात् परिहृत्य दैत्या
ततो विदूरात् परिहृत्य दैत्या
दैत्येषु सङ्गं विषयात्मकेषु
दैत्येषु सङ्गं विषयात्मकेषु
उपेतनारायणमादिदेवम्
उपेतनारायणमादिदेवम्
समुक्तसङ्गैरिषितोपवर्गः
समुक्तसङ्गैरिषितोपवर्गः. My dear friends, O son of the demons, it
Close the
is
door.
certain that no one bereft of knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been able to liberate himself from material bondage at any time or in any country. Rather, those bereft of knowledge of the Lord are bound by the material laws. They are factually addicted to sense gratification, and their target is woman. Indeed, they are actually playthings in the hands of attractive women. Victimized by such a conception of life, they become surrounded by children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, and thus they are shackled to material bondage. Those who are very much addicted to this conception of life are called demons. Therefore, although you are sons of demons, keep aloof from such persons and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, the origin of all the demigods, because the ultimate goal for the devotees of Narayana is liberation from the bondage of material existence.
Okay, you are asking about one point na? From that point of view. If you see this verse, so it is not only that wife is demanding from husband that you bring that, bring this, take care of this, take care of that, this children, this child fee, that fee, not like that. But as soon as one gets married, one gets into household order and one's responsibilities keep increasing. So wife may not demand directly, but the family itself demands because one is responsible to maintain the family, one is expected to do all these things. May the wife may not directly say, but it is a basic requirement of the family head to take care of the family members, the wife, children education. When the relatives come, taking care of the relatives, friends, going for the functions, attending all these things. So it is not that they are asking it. It is not that they are demanding it. It is understood obviously. But all these things have started with marriage. So in that way, though wife may not demand, but obviously things will begin from the point of marriage, from the moment of marriage. So like that also we can understand. Oh demons, since no one at any time, at any place, being helpless, has been able to free oneself from family life, the pet animal enjoyed by women who are chains causing rebirth in this world should completely reject the association of demons who are absorbed in material pleasure and surrender to Narayana, the Supreme Lord. Persons desiring liberation seeks that Lord who gives liberation. So here when I was reading, I was understanding that after marriage, a person is working very hard to maintain the family members, starting with wife, children, friends, relatives, all these things. If one can utilize all the time in serving Lord Narayana without marrying, what benefit can be there? So, like that, one can see what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. He is not denying that one should not marry, but in case in whose heart, if there is no desire to serve the Lord, if he gets married, what happens? His entire life goes in taking care of the family members. If at all one uses all the time and energy in serving Lord Narayana, what kind of benefit one could gain? It's like that. But in a devotee family, wife, husband, children, parents, everyone will cooperate with each other and they all together worship the Supreme Lord. So that will be like Vaikuntha atmosphere. So Prahlad Maharaj is not talking about that kind of family. One cannot free oneself, the object of enjoyment for women. That means having become responsible to your family, even if one want to come out of the home, if one fine day, understanding that no, both okay, abhi, now I want to practice bhakti. The wife will not say, will not give permission, the children will not give permission, the friends will not give permission, relatives will not give permission, no one will give permission. So what to speak of that? Even before marriage only, if one boy want to become brahmachari, there is a lot of opposition. Then what to speak of a person after becoming married? If they want to become vanaprastha or sannyasi, then who will agree? So that point of view, Prahlad Maharaj said that it's very rare that we can see that one person comes out of the household order after marrying. Very difficult. One does not allow one to become completely renounced afterwards. Because there are a lot of, it is not a fault of anybody. It is not a fault of wife, not the fault of the children. Because they require, because they are all dependent on the family head. If he goes in between, where they will go, where they will find shelter. So it is obviously expected. So one cannot say that they are wrong. But the main wrong is one's life is meant to serve Lord, ignoring that we are serving ourselves. That is a fundamental wrong principle. That's what Prahlad Maharaj is pointing out. Yeah, yes, Prabhuji, you want to say something? Nahi achyutam prinayato
न हि अच्युतं प्रियनतो
bahu ayaso suratmaja
भवायसो सुरात्मज
atmatva sarvabhutanam
आत्मवत्तं सर्वभूतानां
siddhatva diha sarvataha.
सिद्धत्वा हे सर्वतः. Translation: My dear sons of demons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, is the original Super Soul, the father of all living entities. Consequently, there are no impediments to pleasing Him or worshipping Him under any conditions. Whether one be a child or an old man, the relationship between the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always a fact, and therefore there is no difficulty in pleasing the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So Prahlad Maharaj is trying to show the contrast. So yeah, yes, one has been taken the responsibility of the family. One need to take care of the children, family members, friends, and relatives, and also wife and all. But there is no guarantee that one can please all of them. Sometimes someone will be displeased. But if one serves Lord Vishnu in a small way, medium way, or big way, Lord Vishnu will be pleased. O sons of the demons, it takes no great endeavor to please the Supreme Lord, since he is within all living beings, and since pleasing him is accomplished by many simple means. One no need to do big things to please Lord Vishnu, but one may have to do big things to please one's family members, friends, and relatives, the people of this world. It is not a great endeavor to please Lord Vishnu by devotional service. One also But on the other hand, one say that one also pleases the family by service. Family ko anyway we are all doing lot of service to please Lord Vishnu, but we are not sure whether they will be pleased. But if you do the same service for Lord Vishnu will be very easy pleased. One does not become fatigued in searching for Lord Vishnu, since Lord Vishnu resides in the heart. So one may say that, oh, you saying that worship Lord Vishnu. Where is Lord Vishnu? He is in Vaikuntha. Will you go to him and worship? No, no, you don't have to go to Vaikuntha. He is there in your heart also. You can serve him here in itself. There is no fatigue in trying to please him, because this is accomplished by all methods. Sarvata siddhatvat. By menial service or by offering physical objects, since the Lord is pleased just by the decision, I will please the Lord. Lord will be pleased even by small services. But the family members may not be pleased by small things. Or the Lord is pleased by just one of the devotional process like hearing or chanting. Out of 9 process, even if you do one, the Lord is pleased. But for family members, we need to do everything. Still, there is no guarantee that they will be pleased. So like that. In a contrast, we can see. So not that Prahlad Maharaj is denying that one should not enter family life and one should not take care of the family. Not like that. But trying to inspire people to take a bhakti. Anyway, you are doing so much for family, do something for Vishnu also. And eventually come to the point of serving Vishnu alone. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam. One day one should come to the point that till now I have taken care of the family members. Abhi ho gaya. Now onwards I want to serve Lord Vishnu alone. One should come to that point. So like that is how we have to understand what Prahlad Maharaj is trying to inspire us. Any questions?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, this will be heavy. This chapter, next chapter, and also Prahlad Maharaj prayers are quite heavy. So we should hear, humbly accept, and we should understand that yes, what you are saying is right, but I am not in that capacity to do all these things. Please give me energy and enthusiasm to come to, I mean, slowly cultivate what you are saying. Like that, we should pray to Prahlad Maharaj. That much only we can do. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, privilege. Actually, that only I was trying to understand that how as a means you have said from the beginning of the class, like don't mix two things. Like this is
Hmm.
basically for the those who are materialistic people and they are entangled in family life. For them, he's saying, and it is also mentioned that that life is a demonic life like that.
Hmm.
But we also say that these prayers are for us. It is not only for those. So, as a devotee, grihasthas, how we should apply this in our life?
Yeah, when we call ourselves as Grasta Ashrama, then our home should be like Ashrama. Ashrama means the place of worship. Is it really the place of worshipping the Supreme Lord, or is it the place of worship of our own desires? If it is a place of worship of our desires, then it becomes Gruha. It remains Gruha only. If it is a place of worshipping the Supreme Lord, then it becomes Grasta Ashrama. So, I mean, it is not that it is only talking about the materialistic people, so it is nothing to do with me. So I am in a good condition, not like that. Though it is being indicating like that, but such kind of things can happen in our family also. Though we may be practicing bhakti, but still our intent, sometimes our attachment may be so strong, deep rooted also. So we should learn and we should try to cultivate and then take care accordingly. That does not mean that a family life is like this and taking care of family members is like blind well. I should give up. I should not take care of my wife, my husband, my children, my parents and in-laws and relatives. Not like that. So we need to balance it.
Yeah, because many times it does happen, Prabhuji, that means in spite of having desires, you have to give some priorities to the family concerns like that. So that time, this means even if we try to apply these prayers, sometimes we have to prioritize family requirements sometimes. So that from that point of view, I was thinking that how to apply.
No, as of now, we are not on the platform of pure devotees. So we need to take care, we need to balance. One thing, we need to cultivate this desire in our heart and we need to apply our intelligence how to take care of our daily requirement in the family. We may not be able to implement all these high-fi philosophical thought processes at the very day itself, but one day one should come to that point. I think yesterday or day before yesterday, we were discussing in one of the classes. Yeah, I suppose few days back. One day, today we have multiple responsibilities, but there should be one day in our life before our death comes. There should be only one thought process. Ananyas chintayanto mam ejana paryupasate. Paryupasate means manasa vacha karmana. I just want to serve the Supreme Lord. So we were telling that I don't want to look here and there. I don't have anything to do with anything of this world. I only want to be with you. I only want to serve you. One should come to that point one day. That should be our goal. Then one is qualified to go back home back to Godhead. So that is what we understand from Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, but if you practically see this, such a thing will never happen for Grihasthas.
That's why Kunti Maharani, what she is praying? Gange Vaugam Udanvati.
So
Let my mind
attraction flow towards
continuously
you.
flow towards your lotus feet. Actually, see,
But even in our mind,
from one point of view, what you are saying is also true. But I will tell one thing. If the family structure is proper, that can be possible. If it is not proper, it will be difficult. So now, you may say, see, now I have my Prabhuji. I need to take care of him and I have attachment to him. If, for example, a elderly couple, if they still continue to see them each other like husband and wife and treating them and taking care of them from that aspect, that will remain continued like that only. But if they treat each other as a Vaishnava and Vaishnavi and cooperating with each other in order to help them progress in their spiritual life, so that bondage is a bondage among the Vaishnavas. That bondage is no more a bondage among the family members, like wife and husband, my parents and children, grandchildren, grandparents. It won't be like that. So Kunti Maharani is saying that if I say Krishna, you stay here, my other relatives will be bereft of your association. If I say you go to Dwaraka and Asinapur Vasis will be bereft of your association, I can't say anything. I want to say that you stay here for a few more days, but I can't say because they are also my relatives. These are also my relatives. So please take me away from this understanding that Pandavas are my children, Yadavas are my maternal relatives. Instead, let me have only one relationship with Pandavas as well as the Dwaraka Vasis as Vaishnavas. For a devotee, he will be happy if the Lord is with other devotees. He will be happy that, okay, those devotees are right now getting an opportunity to serve the Lord. Later on, these devotees will get the opportunity to serve the Lord. Like that, he will be happy. But in the case of family members, if my nephew is with me, I will be happy. If my nephew is with my relatives, they will be happy. So that kind of mine and others will come in the body relationship. When it comes to devotees, yeah, Lord is with the devotees. So if the devotees are happy, I am happy. So like that it will happen. So one should treat all one's family members as devotees only. One should deal with them as a devotee, not as a family member. At least this is my little understanding. I may be wrong also. I'm not able to put it proper words, but this is how one has to transcend the varnashrama dharma.
So, Prabhuji, basically, whatever externally we may be doing, our consciousness should be in that proper direction.
Perfect. Externally, we need to attend to the requirements of the duties, as I mentioned in the beginning while answering you, because today's family culture is like that, it becomes sometimes very difficult. So right now, for example, your case only, your children are in the West and you are in India. So you both have to take care of each other. We need to take care of so many household responsibilities. If the parents are with their children, the children should take care of all the household requirements, allowing the parents to practice bhakti without any anxiety of taking care of worldly responsibilities. Then there is a possibility that both the parents very nicely engage in the devotional service and they are able to teach whatever bhakti they are practicing to the next generation, the next generations. They don't have any anxiety of taking care of them because there will be somebody who will take care of them. Then they have to take care of their bhakti only. So that kind of facilities today we are lacking. So that's why some of the scriptural statements becomes very difficult to implement. You are telling complete surrender, when it will be possible? It will never be possible because we have so many worldly responsibilities. We cannot give up. Even for example, sorry to say like this, even for a single parents also, wherever they are, they take care of themselves. Nowadays situations are like that. The single parents are also not staying with their children. Even if they stay with the children are expecting the parents to do all the household activities because the children will have to go to office. Both wife and husband are employees and they are going to office and they request the mother to take care of the family responsibilities or father to take care of some of the family responsibilities. So where they will get time to practice spiritual activities? Somehow or other, the Britishers came and spoiled our Vedic culture. It is very difficult to bring it back and very difficult to, but whatever it is, whatever extent, after taking care of ourselves, after taking care of our family members, also we'll have good amount of time. If we utilize that time to practice bhakti, that itself is good enough. But there are many people, even they don't want to do that. People normally whoever working and after retirement, even after retirement also if tell them to practice bhakti, they will say, hey, what bhakti and all, no बहुत हो गया अभी, मैं बहुत थक गया, अभी थोड़ा इधर उधर घुमाना चाहता हूँ, उधर उधर थोड़ा एक्सकर्शन जाना चाहता हूँ, ये वो, like that they say, I want to read newspaper, I want to watch TV, this that, read some novels and all. What bhakti, what chanting, what hearing bhagavatam, reading bhagavatam है सब मेरा बस का नहीं. Because the training is not there from childhood, it is very difficult. By some good fortune, we came in the association of devotees. In spite of having so many worldly responsibilities, we are trying to take out good amount of time to practice bhakti and trying to practice bhakti, reading Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, attending yatras. All this we are able to do means there is a great good fortune that we have. We should applaud each other actually in one sense. At least nowadays we are able to do. After 10-15 years, what will be situation we don't know.
It's so true, Prabhuji, what you're saying. Like, I'm seeing so many of the parents, now, those who are staying with their children, they are busy taking care of the grandchildren because the
Yeah.
parents are working. Means those who were doing bhakti, they have come up to 16 rounds. They go down in their bhakti because a small grandchild has taken birth and now I have to take care of that. And they have no time practically. Means it's such a miserable. So many people are seeing like that.
Yes,
So,
because that is the kind of family structure we are leading today because of the British education system.
and means it is very difficult to make them understand, that even if you understand as a counselor or preacher, but to effectively convey to them that you have less time in hand now. So
No,
you
it
should.
is not practical also. Even if I convey, it is not possible because one want to stay in Mumbai. If in Mumbai we cannot implement. Even if you go to village also today we cannot implement. We have already disrupted our culture.
means grandchildren has to be left to the tuitions, and that is why I cannot attend Bhagavad Gita class. That is their situation. Means it's so disgusting and so depressing, but what to do? Like, means they are so much attached to their family structure and grandchildren. We cannot break that bond, na, like that it is.
Yeah, that is true. That's
Because
what,
of
at least in the past, the family was together. Because every activity they would do, it is associated with devotional service. Even at least in the past, the ladies no need to go to office. After taking care of children, they have plenty amount of time. But now they need to go to office. They don't have any time.
Yes,
Where is the time
true.
left?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah,
In
Mataji.
British time, actually, that Varnashrama Dharmam was there because our grandmother's time and all life was very peaceful and Bhakti Marg only. But
Ah,
cinema came, then TV came, then the mobile came. Because of that, also everything is spoiled
no,
now.
no, no. Before this education came,
Yeah, the British type of education curriculum is.
British type of education and all the rules and regulations and equality, all this, that, so many things have come.
Education is commercialized. Everything is commercialized. Education also.
Ah,
That everything has.
The Gurukula system of education has been destroyed, and the convent school concept has been introduced.
Yes.
Because previously in Gurukul, no one would study for livelihood. People would study
Yes.
Vedas to understand the purpose of life. But now the schools are not teaching the purpose of life. The schools are teaching skills for one's livelihood.
Correct.
This is the biggest difference between the education in the past and education now. Now we are all going to schools, colleges for our livelihood. But in the past, no one went to school for livelihood. The livelihood is already there in one's blood, but no need to go here and there.
Actually, Prabhuji, what you said now, that when there will be a day that there will be no other responsibilities and only your service will be. So,
No, 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 not no responsibility, no desire,
yeah, no desire
no
like
other
that.
desire. Hmm.
So that is not a actually abhideya. That is a prayojan for us grostas. I feel that when actually we'll be in the spirit, that is one of the motivation for going to the spiritual world, Prabhuji. That
No,
time
that
there
is
will be,
not the motivation, that is the qualification.
yes.
No, without that, one cannot.
That there only we will not have any other responsibilities and 24 hours, and because the bodily restrictions also will not be there over there, so we can
Hmm.
unlimitedly serve the Lord like that.
Yes. So we have to demonstrate here that, my dear Lord, I can serve you because I'm serving you here. I can, after coming there also, I can serve you.
Yes.
If one is saying that, okay, my dear Lord, 24 hours में 4 घंटा आपके लिए, 4 घंटा ग्रैंडसन के लिए, 4 घंटा ग्रैंड डॉटर के लिए, 4 घंटा मेरा शरीर के लिए, 4 घंटा मेरा पति के लिए, 4 घंटा फोन पे बात करने के लिए, 4 घंटा टीवी देखने के लिए. If we divide like that, like अष्टकाली लीला, तो लॉर्ड विल से नो प्रॉब्लम, करते रहो, अब इधर ही करते रहो ना, उधर क्यों आने का. So something like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
I am sorry. I am telling to myself also. I am not telling all of you. I am also telling myself also. It is
It's fact, Prabhuji. It is fact.
everywhere.
yes, Prabhuji,
Everywhere it
it
is the same.
is a
Everywhere the
fact.
same story.
This is the truth.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Even though we want to be Krishna conscious, but we cannot be because we have made our circumstances like that.
Yes.
And without fail. So I will start my video for 1 second. We have our eternal companion. As long as he and this one is there, very difficult.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Prabhuji.
Mobile and laptop, I am telling. This is
Yes.
also new invention. These are all nothing but Kali products. These are Kali's ways of taking away our valuable time from our life. Okay. But in any case, whatever it is, we need to applaud each other in spite of all these distractions. Still, we are trying to do every day small morning program which includes Mangala Arati, 16 rounds of Japa, Bhagavatam class, little bit reading, hearing here and there. Once in a while, some yatra, satsang program every week. All these things we are doing, matlab. Yeah, we need to applaud each other. We need to appreciate each other. Okay, let us read through the next 3 verses, then we can close for today. Paravareshu bhuteshu
Paravareshu bhuteshu
brahmantastavarādishu
brahmantastavarādishu
bhautikeshu vikareshu
bhautikeshu vikareshu
bhuteshu atamahsusha
bhuteshu atamahatsusha
guneshu gunasamye cha
guneshu gunasamye cha
गुणव्यतिकरे तथा
gunavyati tata
एक एव परो ह्यात्मा
eka eva paro hi atma
भगवान् ईश्वरो व्यया
Bhagavan Ishvaro Vyaya
प्रत्यगात्मा स्वरूपेण
Pratyagatma Swarupena
दृश्यरूपेण च स्वयं
Drishya Rupena Chasvayam
व्याप्य व्यापक निर्देशो
Vyapya Vyapaka Nirdeshyo
ये निर्देशो विकल्पितः
Anirdeshyo Vikalpitaha
केवलानुभवानन्द
Kevalanubhavananda
स्वरूपा परमेश्वरः
Swarupa Parameshvaraha
मायायान्तर्हित ऐश्वर्या
Maya Yantar Hitaishvarya
ईयते गुणसर्गया.
Iyate Gunasargaya. Translation.
I will read, Mata. I will read. You don't read.
Okay.
The unchanging Lord, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, different from Prakriti, is present in higher and lower beings, from Brahma to the plants, in all the objects, in the grass elements, in the gunas, in pradhana, and its transformation such as Mahatattva. Now the point is, anyway, you are working very hard to please your family members. My dear friends, please do some service to Lord Vishnu also, you will be very pleased. So the question is, but Lord Vishnu is in Vaikuntha, how can I please him? How can I serve him? My family members are next to me, but Lord Vishnu is in Vaikuntha. He says, Lord Vishnu is within the core of your heart, but I cannot see him. Okay, no problem. You cannot see him in the core of your heart. The same Lord Vishnu, from Lord Vishnu only, everything that you can see is manifested. All those things are around you. What are the different things that are manifesting from the Lord Vishnu that are around you? The same Lord Vishnu is called as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. He is non-different from Prakriti. Prakriti is around you. He is available in the form of higher beings and lower beings, from Brahma to plants. Every living entity is nothing but the manifestation of the Supreme Lord. In all grass objects, in all grass elements, in all three gunas, in pradhana is there, in its transformations such as Mahatattva, Ahankara, Buddhi, Man, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Panchamahabhutas, Panchatanmatras, in everything is there. Can't you see him? If you are seeing earth, he is the Lord. Lord is there in earth. He is described as the pervader in the form of Paramatma. Andantarastha Paramanu Chantarastha Paramatma is there in every core of every element. And is known as the pervaded in the form of the universe. He is the pervader as Paramatma. He is pervaded as the universe. He is the universe, he is the Paramatma within the universe. Though he is beyond definition, he is realized by various types of worshippers. Though one may not be able to explain the absolute truth, but different sadhakas worship him and realize him. He cannot be understood by words. He can be understood by service, by sadhana. This Supreme Lord, though having a spiritual form of pure knowledge and bliss, Sachidananda Sarupa, is falsely seen as entity without powers. The wrong philosophers, they may say that Lord has no form, nothing, this, not that, Lord has nothing, they may say. That is only because of their false understanding, which is because of the influence of Maya, which creates material sense objects for the Jiva. It is by Maya, influenced by Maya, one comes up with false notions. Lord is light, Lord is fair, Lord is vacuum. Like that, false notions will come. But actually, the Lord is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, which you may not pursue, but the same Lord can be pursued in the form of material nature, three gunas, time, all the living entities, and all the material bodies made up of 24 material elements. Lord can be pursued in everything because everything is a manifestation of Supreme Lord. By looking at any object, any entity, we should be able to immediately remember the Supreme Lord. So, like that. So, where is the difficulties to serve the Lord? Lord can be seen everywhere. So, like that, Prahlada Maharaj is trying to induce bhakti in the heart of these Asura Kumaras. Not only the Lord to be observed, Lord to be served within the heart, but He is present everywhere and should be satisfied by giving Him in all respects. When a person comes in front of us, we are offering respect to him. Actually, respect is given to Paramatma in the heart. So, like that. To teach this, two verses show how the Lord pervades everything. He is present in all excellent and inferior jivas, from Brahma to the plants. Yadyat urjitam. What is that? What was the verse? Bhagavad Gita chapter 10.
Yadyat vibhutimat sattvam.
Yadyat vibhuti masatvam srimat urjitameva tattat eva vagachatvam. Mama teja amsha sambhava. The Lord's presence is there in everything. The important things are spoken in the Vibhuti Yoga, but He is there in everything. Nothing is separate from Him. We can see the presence of the Lord in everything. He is present in non-living objects such as parts, in the 5 gross elements, Panchama Bhutas, in Pradhana, and its transformations such as Mahatattva, Ahankara, intelligence, Buddhi, etc. etc. He is different from Prakriti and its transformations. Though He is different from Prakriti and the transformations and the 24 elements, but the 24 elements and Prakriti are also produced from Him. By looking at them, we should be able to remember the Supreme Lord. Because all these are produced from the Lord, they all belong to Supreme Lord. That's how we can be able to connect to the Lord. He is the one Lord called as Supreme Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. He is without deterioration though through all time. These elements may deteriorate in time, but the Lord does not deteriorate. He remains as He is for the rest of eternity. If the Lord is like this, then let this be defined. One may ask the question, you define who is the Lord. Don't vaguely tell all these things. He is Atma within all Jivas. He is Paramatma. You want definition? Listen. The Supreme Lord is Paramatma in every living entity. Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. Kshetrajnan Chapi Mam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. He is all pervading in that form. As Paramatma is spread everywhere. Andantarastha Paramanucha Antarastam. And at the visible universe, he is pervaded. The entire universe is also an external manifestation of Supreme Lord. That universe is pervaded by Him in the form of Paramatma. Are you satisfied with this definition? Thus, He is specified as the pervader and the pervaded. But actually, He cannot be specified. You cannot tell this is the only definition of the Lord. This is only one of the definitions of the Lord. So, in order to describe the Lord, we need many things like that. Though indefinable or invisible by different worshippers, is manifested variously as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Though our material worlds are not sufficient to describe the Supreme Lord, but still we can describe Him as Paramatma, Brahman, and Bhagavan. Still He is one form made up of Satchit Ananda, knowledge and bliss. Though He is manifest by the powers arising from His Swarupa everywhere, by His power of ignorance, Maya, He seems to be without power, since it is impossible for the Jiva to see Him. People question, you are a devotee? Then where is your Lord? Why is He not coming and protecting you? If there is a Lord, why the Lord is not protecting the devotees in Bangladesh? Why the Lord is allowing them to go through miseries? Why the Lord is letting the devotees go through cancer, heart attack, and getting immature death? Where is the Lord? Why is he not coming in front of our eyes and do some miracles and protect his devotees? Such kind of philosophy will come because of the influence of Maya. What is Maya? Maya creates sense objects like sound, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, which are realized by the senses. What we can realize and experience is these five tanmatras in this world around us. But the creator of these is the Supreme Lord. The creator of these five tanmatras is Maya. The creator of Maya is Supreme Lord. Thus, sound and other sense objects are perceived, but not the Lord. Since the Jiva's vision for seeing the Lord is concealed by avidya, a transformation of Maya. Because we are all covered by Maya, we cannot perceive the Supreme Lord. We may say that we are able to perceive Shabda, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, but not Lord. That means Lord does not exist, one may say. But actually, since we are all covered by Maya, we cannot perceive the Supreme Lord. Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mamamaya Durateya Mam Yeve Prapadyante Mayam Yatam Tarantite. Only those who overcome Maya by surrender to Supreme Lord can be able to perceive the Supreme Lord. As long as we are under the control of Maya, we can never ever perceive the Supreme Lord. That is understanding. Thus, when Maya is overcome by the bhakti to the Lord becomes visible according to the degree of one's practice of bhakti. When we practice bhakti, when we overcome the influence of three modes of material nature, then definitely we'll be able to perceive the Supreme Lord without fail. So, the goal that we need to attain is we need to practice bhakti and transcend the influence of three modes. Only when we transcend the three modes of influence, three modes of material nature, we'll be able to perceive and appreciate the statements of Vedic literature that Lord exists. Within three modes, we can never ever perceive the Supreme Lord. If we want to perceive the Lord, we need to transcend three modes. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Bhakti is meant to take us beyond three modes. When we go beyond three modes, we can perceive the Lord, we can see the Lord, we can serve the Lord. Till then, Lord is only a theoretical subject matter. Hare Krishna. So, with these few words, we'll stop here. Of course, few more verses we could have discussed. We could have gone up to 26 because this theme will continue up to 26, but there are some notes. We may need some time. We will do next time. No problem. No hurry now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, just small quick thing. Like here it was mentioned that Lord is in so many things. There it was also mentioned he is in gunas. So how to understand this, Prabhuji? Like we say Lord is
Yes.
above the gunas. So but he is in the gunas also.
Ah.
How to
No, not like that. The question is, how can I pursue the Lord? You are telling Lord, serve the Lord. To serve the Lord, we need to see the Lord. But Lord is in Vaikuntha. The next answer is, no, Lord is in the heart also as Paramatma. But I cannot pursue the Lord in the Paramatma. Then the answer is, no problem. If you cannot pursue the Lord in the Paramatma, at least pursue in the material manifestation. Since everything is manifested from the Lord, you see everything as an object of the Supreme Lord. Object that belongs to Supreme Lord. Not that see everything as the Lord. See everything in connection to Supreme Lord. In that way, perceive the Lord. Like that is being said. But if at all one want to see the Lord, one need to transcend the three modes. Till then, one cannot see the Lord. But in order to transcend three modes, one need to practice bhakti. In order to practice bhakti, one need to see everything in relation to Supreme Lord. You employ everything in the service of Supreme Lord. That is the understanding.
Okay, so the Maya is Lord Shakti, and that is a gunas is a creation of Maya. So that is a in that reference, gunas are coming from Lord, and that is how we should understand that he's
Yes.
in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Since everything is coming from the Lord, everything is in connection to Supreme Lord. When you see everything, we should remember Supreme Lord. Like Prabhupada says, na, when you see my footwear, you will remember me. When you see my spectacles, you remember me. When we see the Prabhupada books, we immediately remember Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada wrote these books. Immediately we remember Srila Prabhupada by looking at his books, something like that. Same way, when we look at the thing in the world in front of us, we should be able to remember the Supreme Lord.
Yes.
So that is the more practical way, like that Prabhupada Prahlada Maharaja is teaching us.
Yes. Thank you.
Any questions from other devotees?
No, Prabhuji, thank you very much.
So, as I told, this entire section will be a little tough section. We should have a lot of courage to listen through this section. Then what to speak of? Just to listen only, we need courage. Then what to speak of practice? So, but that is required. After studying 6th cantos, also, if you don't get this kind of heavy, strong instructions, then we can never become serious. So, 7th canto onwards, we'll get such kind of strong instructions. So, Hare Krishna. We need to take them in proper positive perspective so that we can progress further and further. Okay, I think we'll stop here with these few words. So we'll meet next Saturday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Vrindaki.
Hare
Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.